Who are the top 30 prospects visiting the Arizona Cardinals? Well, we don't have all 30 of them, but we have 5 pretty nice prospects, Johnny. And how about all 32 first-round picks? Let's do that today.
We're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to draft every single pick of the first round with the help of all of you. We're going to go through it pick by pick, including the Arizona Cardinals. Will they trade up? Will they trade down? Will they trade back into the first round? We're breaking it all down. It's PHNX Cardinals Live. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. The PHNX Cardinals podcast, premier, #1 in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your program. And everybody awake on a Friday. I'm Johnny Venerable. My co-host, Brack. In Studio K, Damon Dawg returns. His Wildcats do not. We won't touch on that.
Oof.
It's Circle K Day here on a PHNX Cardinals Friday. What's up, friends?
Man, aggressive. I like it. Very aggressive. There you go. 5 big booms. No doubt about it. 5 big booms. You're live today. You took it to another level. You startled probably your neighborhood, mostly comprised of elderly people, senior citizens. And your family, of course, they probably took shelter when you screamed live. What's going on, Merv? Picking spreads. Donnie in the chat. Love to see our draft expert here. You chiming in for a 32 pick first round mock draft. How about Frat Dog? Greedo shot second. Nick Schaff. The squad's here. Grinzone. We've got Ryan Walker, Claymore Jones, Tony, AZ, Jace. I think if it's the same Jace, churn out great content on the Twitter streets. Gannonite, Kyle, just entire squad of just elites here to do some mock drafting and here to talk about some prospects that are visiting our beloved state, our beloved team in the facility in Tempe, the Arizona Cardinals.
Feeling this comment right off the bat. G. Willikers, great name, by the way. JV pounding those Skittles and Polar Pops. I see. I can't confirm or deny. It's what JG taught us, that, you know, the boost of the insulin a little bit short term. But sugar rush, some might call it. We need it today on a Friday. Slow news day in the NFL ranks. Where the hell is everybody? Everybody took the Friday off. Not these guys, because this is going to be our best show of the week because of all of you. We already got 200 watching live. Drop us a like. So much to get into. Again, we're going to go pick by pick. And we're all going to be on the same page. Bo said, should we rotate picks? I said, no. We can come to grips like the brothers we are on every single pick in the first round. The three of us can get it done together, including trades, and including there's going to be tomfoolery involved. It's going to be wild. But first, we got to get to the visits, Bo Brack.
Now, hold on.
I mean, he's going to start off the bat with putting me in my grave, throwing a little bit of extra dirt on my coffin.
Body's not even cold yet.
No. And then he's going to say, I think that we can come to a family style conclusion here. Don't you feel the love in this room?
Let's all link arms here.
Yeah.
We're brothers.
Right after just, taking the picture at my funeral, just had to make sure he was dead.
I mean, some would call it disrespectful.
Damon, my team hasn't made it.
I think also, Johnny, some people would say it's a bit naive on Damon, my behalf, to just be like, oh, yeah, we'll just willingly follow you, Johnny, into this mock draft. just believing that for the first time in the history of us doing this show, that you're not going to hijack this mock draft and just make each pick your own.
I'm going to be a team player today. A few Fridays ago, I overtook this mock draft and I took Cam Skattebo at pick 47. I won't do that again, I promise. Speaking of Cam Skattebo, as I get myself together here.
Yeah, put yourself back together.
This is a
for the love of
professional
God.
show, GD. Cam Skattebo's 40 time. Anthony Totri, I think, was the first of ASU PHNX Sun Devils to come out and say low 4.6s, right, from his pro day. It's come out today. Dane Brugler and company, probably closer to like mid 4.6. Okay. Yep. Cam Skattebo, why is that notable? Because as much as some people may besmirch it, Cam Skattebo was a top 30 visit of this fine franchise. So I know there are a lot of people, well, you're talking about it. Quit bringing it up. They used the top 30 visit. They could have easily lumped him in with the pro day guys, ASU local day. Nope, they used the top 30 visits. Let's just start right there, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, Scat, he did tell us that he was training in Florida. So as far as the local day, not as easy. He made his way back, though, for his private workout yesterday. Guy Benjamin Albright saying most of the scouts had him at what Brugler reported 4.65 to 4.68.
Yes.
So, mid 4.6s.
Yep.
Yeah, no Johnny Ralphio takeover here for the mock draft. But look, it wasn't a number that was egregious. It wasn't unexpected, but it wasn't the one that was going to catapult Cam Skattebo from what people expect to be a day 3 pick firmly in the day 2.
I'm a little concerned for our guy Scatman now. I think, again, very similar to what happened with Jack.
You are being swayed by the number.
I mean, yesterday we talked about like low 4.6s, and now like people are saying like mid 4.6s. The number is getting better every time we talk about it. So that's a little bit. Remember originally on Twitter, people are like,
Johnny, all we're talking about is
3/10 of a second.
All we're talking about is the 4.69.
Take him off the board.
But no, remember Twitter yesterday, people were like 4.5, and I'm like 4. Hot damn, 4.5. Let's go.
That was that was just complete speculation.
That was people doing this.
That was maybe somebody with something to gain, put that out there that was not very good at running their own stop. They were using their iPhone stopwatch. That was some 49ers. Of course, you can never trust any kind of 49ers publication. It was like some 49ers blog spot that picked up that he ran somewhere between like a 4.53 and a 4.58. Whereas it was more realistically about, what is it, a 10th of a second off.
I heard it was Matt Miller who did it. It was actually Matt Miller at hand time. Cam Skattebo took a top 30 visit. I think we can put a pin in the Scat Man.
4.72. He ran. Just to confirm it. What was it?
You're going to have him down there with that defensive tackle that's 450 pounds running. You got
464. 464. That guy would need to go on like a 2-week just cleanse to get to 450.
Okay, I don't like this right here. Tip Ryman ran a 4.64. We need the time.
No, Tip Ryman didn't he run a 4.71?
I mean, I don't even remember Tip Ryman running period this year. I don't remember Tip Ryman in space outside of a couple catches for 5 yards. So I think that's a moot point.
4.64. Wow.
Tip Ryman is athletic as
Tip Ryman faster than Cam Skattebo. That hurts your boy. That ain't good for business here on PHNX Cardinals. Are we putting to bed certainly Cam Skattebo's second round pick? I think you guys were already there. I thought, maybe people feeling frisky in a up and down draft. Cam Skattebo percentage, he goes in the 3rd round. Bo, I'm going to start with you. Percentage
he goes in the 3rd round. I would say, because we started to kind of scout that yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was, we liked it kind of on the back end. We started to get around the 70s, the 80s. That's kind of the mid to late 3rd round. But yeah, I think 4th round is really where you start to look at Scat.
I'm going to tell you right now.
This is a deep group.
And there were a lot of good backs last year that fell. Remember Bucky Irving and some other guys had fallen to the later rounds. If he makes it through the 3rd round and we wake up on day 3 and we do our marathon Saturday show, we do rounds 4 through 7, we are on trade up watch like there's never been before. I am completely disheveled in studio living and dying with every pick as he goes through. Like if you thought Luke Whippler 2 years ago was a nightmare, if Cam Skattebo, what's Cardinals' third round pick? 78. Just assume they don't take him at 78, and he gets past like 100 or so, and we're sitting there in the fourth round. I'm praying to the football gods. We're calling everybody we know to get this team to come up and use a fourth rounder on him. Would you be comfortable with that? Using a fourth and a packaging and they're sixth and going up and getting Scat?
Well, I mean, after running a 4.83, I'm kind of concerned about it.
I already hate the trajectory of this show. The mock draft is only going to go downhill from here. Bo, you reported earlier today, you had kind of culminated or put together the list of the notables, right, that have taken top 30 visits. Now, full transparency, Mike Garafolo is going to join us next Thursday. Mm-hmm. We're going to give him a list of guys that we feel like are on the Cards radar, the usual suspects, right? We're going to try to get Mike to confirm who's taken top 30 visits. But, Bo, what have you heard in terms of the Cardinals and top 30 as of right now?
Well, I mean, obviously the guy we just talked about, he confirmed with us himself that he was taking a visit with the Cardinals, and then Garafolo on top of that said, no, it's not just a local day, it's a top 30 day, as we confirmed. But then Justin Mello from the Draft Network is always kind. Anytime he's got some sort of Cardinals ties, he'll DM Johnny, myself, people who cover the team, just little tidbits of information. And today, him and his colleague over the Draft Network, Ryan Fowler, they had Femi Oladipo of UCLA. This is an edge rusher. He was an off-ball linebacker. Fran Duffy says, kind of think like Jalen Walker or light. He has taken a top 30 visit with the Arizona Cardinals. So he's the fifth confirmed reported top 30 visit we have for the Cardinals. So far, a pretty short list. This is elite graphic, by the way. Confirmed top 30 visits, Shemar Stewart from Texas A&M, the really athletic, physically gifted edge rusher with not a whole lot of production. Will Johnson, the talented corner out of Michigan. He took a top 30 visit as he also trains out here. Scat. Then Anthony Belton, who's a tackle or kind of a versatile offensive lineman from NC State. And then Oladipo, as we mentioned, the versatile linebacker from UCLA. So 5 so far, but looking to maybe double that when we catch up with Gareth by the time we catch up with Mike G next week.
Only 2 guys worthy of the 16th overall pick on this list, Bo, in Will Johnson and Stewart. You look back, I'm trying to find that last year, top 30 visits for the Arizona Cardinals. Most of them, it felt like, were going to be like first-round picks, right? Mm-hmm. And now there's a big difference. Johnny, the Cardinals had 2 firsts last year. So they were playing in a really big sandbox. But last year, we had talked about it, like every one of the big 3 wide receivers, Marv, Neighbors, and Rome Odunze, took a top 30 visit with the Arizona Cardinals. We know the Cardinals met extensively with Joe Alt. I mean, they went through the ringer of all.
I've got it right here.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. Marv, Neighbors, Odunze, Brendan Rice. I wonder if he was a local guy. Just because he went.
What happened?
Does that count if you go to high school around here?
It does.
Okay. Maybe he was a local guy. He went to Hamilton. Jalen McMillan, Xavier Worthy, J.C. Latham, the tackle out of Bama. Charles Turner III. He was an LSU interior offensive lineman. Dylan Johnson, running back from Washington. Ray Davis, the Kentucky running back. Dallas Turner, another first rounder. Chop Robinson, first rounder. Good player. Told you guys about him. Latu at UCLA. Xavier Thomas, who they ended up drafting out of Clemson. Christian Boyd, who is kind of a trendy player on this podcast. Interior defensive lineman at Northern Iowa. Mason Smith, interior defensive lineman from LSU. Another first rounder, Terrion Arnold, DB out of Bama. Jarvis Brownlee, DB from Louisville. Nehemiah Pritchett from Auburn. Andrew Phillips, DB from Kentucky. Rabbit Taylor Demerson. Max Melton. Darius Robinson. So we got about 25 of the 30 top visits last year.
I mean, edge and wide receivers, and they ended up taking a defensive tackle. We know through our sources they tried to trade up for a defensive player. We're assuming that was Dallas Turner or Brian Thomas Jr. That went to Seattle. So, again, a lot of that tracks. This year, not a lot available yet. So
Yeah.
we're going to hopefully break more down with Mike Garafolo next week. And we're going to ask him, James Pierce, Mike Green, right? Both pass rushers from Georgia. What about some of these tackles? Anybody from Ohio State? There's a lot to be uncovered here. And I mean, top 30 visits go into April, but I mean, we got about 3.5 more weeks of this bad boy here. We don't have much time. Got to get these visits in, and we'll be ready to break it all down. But you know what we're going to do next? We're going to break down all 32 picks, first round 2025 NFL draft via our friends at the PFF Mock Draft Simulator, including the Arizona Cardinals. You guys tell us, based on, we're going to be realistic here. We're not going to be fanboy pom-pom wavers like we normally are 90% of the time on this show. So what are the Cardinals' best option? Full mock draft. It's coming up. PHNX Cardinals. But first, again, you can't wager on our mock draft, but you can sure as hell wager on draft props and how about college basketball and more via our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. 90 million users worldwide. And again, tip-off Tuesday, NBA. They've got Slam Dunk Saturday. Manana, it's never ordinary. See yourself with Slam Dunk Saturday. Place a qualifying bet totaling $20 or more during Saturday NBA games. Going to get up to $25 back in bonus bets. But how about a parlay boost? Double your winnings with Bet365, 100% parlay boost. All you got to do, download the app, use the bonus code PHNX365. New customers, by the way, deposit $10, right? Bet $5, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets. No questions asked, win or lose, right? You're making money every single time with our friends at Bet365. You can do player props, spreads, totals, futures, and more. Can't wait till we get a robust group of player props to break down ahead of the NFL draft. Got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
I'm so hot on Bet365 right now. I should be doing those reads. Actually, I'm going to vie for that. I mean, I sweated out. Unbelievable win last night with Texas Tech. I'm going to take all the credit for it. Red Raiders.
Good teams win, but great teams cover, Bo.
Yeah.
And plus 9.5 was a lock for the Wildcats last night.
It was
a damn fact.
It was a great win. And look, why not celebrate a good betting win with some Spinato's Pizzeria? And they're your Phoenix Suns headquarters. More importantly, tonight, our entire crew, PHNX Suns, is out there. The Gilbert location. Johnny, make your way over there. Scoot over to the Spinato's. There in Gilbert. You could win pizza for a year. You can learn more. Visit SpinatosPizzeria.com. Click the link in our show notes. You can play in the game of horse. The contest, actually, you're spelling out Pizza instead because it's Spinato's Pizzeria. Get in on the za. And also, you have a chance to win Suns tickets and free pizza. Who doesn't want free pizza and Suns tickets? Get it going. You've got the excitement going on out there for the Suns watch party. Get all the info on more watch parties in the pizza basketball contest and make your order for delivery right now. SpinatosPizzeria.com. Spinato's, the official pizza of the Phoenix Suns.
The best part about Spinato's Pizza, when I eat it, I actually forget I'm watching the Phoenix Suns. So it's great. Wow. Spinato's Pizza, Phoenix Suns right now. We can rip on the Suns. I think I mentioned the other day on the show that if the Suns lost to the Jason Tatum-less Boston Celtics, that they should shut it down for the year to tank for a draft pick. Then many of you reminded me foolishly that the Suns have no draft picks for like 7 years. So sorry about that.
They lost by 30.
They did.
Good.
I tried to watch like 10 minutes of the game. It was just it was a bloodbath.
I like this one. Pack it up, Merv says. Pack it up.
Is the most like logical and rational Suns fans actually Cardinals fans?
Like,
we
think
seem
so.
to get it. We seem to get it.
Yeah, like we're built different on this show. Can we just be real? We all 500 you watching now. We're Teflon, right? We've seen infinite collapses. We've seen horrific seasons. We've seen Josh Dobbs. We've seen Clayton Tune, and we've seen Colt McCoy with his rag arm, can't throw during training camp. We don't have any patience for whatever the hell Kevin Durant is doing right now. Do you have the patience to do a 32 pick first round mock draft with your boys right now? The boys of PHNX Cardinals. Gentlemen, are you ready? Fans?
Yeah, let's start our engines here. I mean, you have the patience? Of course I do. Are you sick enough? You want to? Have you been diagnosed with the disease that is ball knowing? and loving ball. Yeah, we are. So let's fire it up. Let's get it going. 1 through 32.
Should we tell everybody? So the rules are there are no rules. Trades are available. We can manipulate trades. Realistically speaking, we own all 32 picks.
Now, hold on. Are you going to at least give 13 to Damon?
Well, yeah. I mean, he knows the Dolphins better than any of it. We're all doing this collectively based on team needs, rationale, fun.com. So we're all doing this together collectively here. So yeah, Damon, our resident Dolphins fan, he'll know that squad. However, I did tell him last year, Chop Robinson, A+ pick.
Yeah, maybe Johnny should make the pick.
It hurts me that the Cardinals use the top 30 on Chop. I'd forgotten about that. All right, let's do it.
Good player.
Very good player. Elite player, some would say. All right, let me make sure we got this here. That's not what I want. Whoops. Let's try this one more time. Great podcasting. Great start. Here we go. Let me know when you can see my string, fellas.
It looks great.
Damon's going to frame us up so you can see our beautiful faces just a little bit better while we do this. So here's what we're doing. We're going to do the first 15 or 16 picks, and then we're going to break, and we're going to debrief, and then we're going to come back and continue onward. So again, all 32 teams selected. Public board, it doesn't really matter where the board is, draft needs, because we're picking them all. So let's jump into it here. Gentlemen, on the clock, Tennessee Titans. We have fast forward. We've made it through draft season. Yeah. It's April 24th, Thursday night. By the way, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet with our friends at Gila, do it now. We'll get to that later. Let's start this bad boy. What are you thinking, fellas?
I don't think we have to waste much time here. I think you just got to go with who is the consensus 1-1. Quarterback at the U, Cam Ward. Take him, select him. I mean, the only thing I would think could possibly happen is if I would probably take him out of this now is the Giants trading up. So Cam Ward, you are Tennessee Titan.
The Giants have a lot of problems. I don't think Tennessee has an appetite to trade with them. Cam Ward, listen, not my favorite prospect. He's had some good outings this past year, but in that division, anything can happen. Am I right? So that's an easy one. Now, I mean, there's a little bit of uncertainty here. You got Adam Schefter coming out and saying Abdul Carter likely the pick, but I mean, who knows? Who are the quarterbacks on their roster right now? Baby Hands, Kenny Pickett, anybody else?
Right. No, I mean, they traded DTR. They've got Deshaun Watson, who suffered a setback with his Achilles injury.
Yeah.
Let Jameis walk. It is Baby Hands, Kenny Pickett. They added somebody else, didn't they? Or did we see that? Was it Kirk Cousins was in a surrounding area at a Chipotle? Did we see that? Was that where that Chipotle was? Ohio?
I'm not familiar with that. That move makes a lot of sense, though.
Okay.
That move to happen. So, I mean, Shedeur, I mean, PFF hates Shedeur, but, you know, I think he's the obvious fallback candidate if they don't take Abdul Carter here. I think if you think you can get Kirk Cousins after the draft, this is a pretty easy decision. I like Abdul Carter more than Travis Hunter. Damon, any issue with Abdul Carter here?
No, I'm good with it. I think that's where it's trending right now.
Yeah. Could change. Inevitably, Bo, you good with this as well?
Yeah, no problem with that.
Abdul Carter, the best overall player. Now, he's still recovering from shoulder surgery. And no.
Wasn't it a foot?
Foot. Maybe somebody else had a shoulder.
Shoulder was Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, I can't keep track of it all. He's going to at least get measured at the pro day for Penn State. He's not going to work out, but he didn't do measurements at the combine. All right, so here's the big ticket here ahead of the draft, and it's Shedeur versus Travis Hunter. Very poetic. The Giants are picking between two players from the same university that want to play together. I would say it. If you're not taking Shedeur Sanders and you're rolling with Russell Wilson and Jameis, like you're asking him, if you're Dable, are you asking to be fired by like week 8?
Right. Yeah, I woke up today also feeling and just kind of get the vibe that they are in Shedeur Sanders business. And they're talking to people around the combine. that said there was a bit of a love affair with the Giants. Like they've been to Boulder many times to scout Shedeur Sanders, and at one point it shifted from Shedeur to Cam Ward, but it seems like they've landed back on Shedeur. Like signing Russell Wilson to the deal he signed and Jameis Winston, where they're making $14 million combined. I don't think that's like them telegraphing that they're out on a quarterback just yet. So I honestly think I'm leaning towards Shedeur.
I am too. I think first of all, it's good for the Cardinals because we don't want to see Shedeur drop past Arizona. We want to burn this pick. If you're the Giants, like you can cut Jameis Winston over the summer. You can cut him during training camp. Like Jameis Winston doesn't have to make their team. Like Russ and Shedeur, that dynamic, that's a little dicey. You need some mojo, man. You got nothing. And after last year, when the entire league laughed at you, you need some juice. And I like Travis Hunter fine. I don't think he's I don't think he's as good a cover corner as Patrick Peterson. I don't think he's a generational prospect. I don't think he's the best defensive player. I think he's a really good prospect. But if you feel like there's a quarterback that can lead your franchise, I think you have to pull the trigger here.
Damon, any problem with us taking Shedeur here?
No, let's do it. I do think it's funny, like they can make a reality TV show of that quarterback.
The quarterback room is insane. I don't know if you could find 3 more insane different personalities. It's like the three bears, right? I also think Jameis and Russell Wilson. Johnny, you might get this reference as the Family Matters when Urkel would change into Stefan.
Yeah. 1,000%. Russell Wilson wants to be Shedeur. He wants to stay young. He'll be like, let's go out, me, you, and Sierra. Let's all go hang out in downtown.
He'll start dressing just like Shedeur, wearing the exact same fits.
I mean, if you take Shedeur Sanders, I do think there's some posturing going on with the Giants where you're acting like you're fine if the Browns take Shedeur because you've got these other guys signed. You're pretending it's like when you flirt with a girl and or a guy or whomever, and you're like, I don't want them to know I like them, right? I think that's what the Giants are doing. They're putting it out there into the ether that, you know what, we don't really like Shedeur. Look at these quarterbacks we're bringing in. I think you could cut any of these guys if you get Shedeur. None of that matters. The Giants have a ton of cap space. I think it'll be a quarterback right now.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Patriots here at 4. And does that make their move easy here to go back-to-back Colorado players? Do they take Travis Hunter, a versatile player? Donnie making a good case, Stephon Diggs, Travis Hunter playing a little offense, but also being able to play at a high level, potentially projects to at the defensive back spot. That would be probably his primary role.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, especially with what they did up front. They've got Barrymore. They added, obviously, our boy Milton Williams there to the interior of that defensive line. I mean, Mason Graham's a really good player. I mean, if you're looking for a better receiver at that spot than Hunter, I think T-Mac, no doubt about it. I know Damon agrees with that. Or Will Campbell at the left tackle spot. I mean, those are my options here. So I would lean towards Travis Hunter going here 4th overall.
I'll push back slightly. They have Christian Gonzalez. I don't think Travis Hunter is a viable receiving option in the NFL, enough to build around. I think he's a number 1 corner, and they don't need that. I can make an argument for Graham, but they just signed Milton Williams. They need more help there. I would lean Will Campbell. I would go best available offensive lineman. Drake May got slaughtered last year in the time that he had. He was running for his life. I just feel like I don't think with Vrabel at the helm, they want to go anywhere but line of scrimmage. So to me, it's a coin flip. I also don't think Vrabel wants to entertain a lot of what's going on with Colorado and the outside noise. And I know it's lesser with Travis Hunter, but he's got a podcast. And I just think they want to go either defensive line or offensive line. I would have no issue going Will Campbell here if you think he can play left tackle. I think when you're talking about Drake May, who's a quality offensive lineman for the Patriots? You can't name one. Whereas Travis Hunter and Christian Gonzalez, who do you even need to D up on? You're not the Buffalo Bills aren't built with wide receivers and elite skill players. They beat you up on both lines of scrimmage, and Josh Allen's incredibly physical. You know, the Jets and the Miami Dolphins are different stories. So
Yeah.
I would actually go, this would be the first kind of curveball. I think I would go Will Campbell here. Damon, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I do think when you're looking at it from the perspective of what do they need, they probably need O-line more than they need a corner. Just given the fact that I think Christian Gonzalez might actually be statistically like the best cornerback in football last season.
Right.
That being said, I think that when you have a pick this high in the draft, you just get the blue chip prospect. So I think that you got to feel more comfortable picking a Travis Hunter here than maybe a Will Campbell, who maybe projects as a guard, like at the 4th overall pick. I think that could be tough. So I kind of want to go with Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I just I'm not you could probably even sway me more on Mason Graham here just at this point in the draft. You just need to take the more elite prospects, and I think that Hunter and Graham edge out a guy like Campbell. And I like Campbell. I mean, obviously he's made a comeback with his tape, and I think his press conference, I liked what he said. I like his makeup, but
yeah,
I have a tough time getting, and what Hunter could provide to you, what you've been seeking on the offensive side of the football that nobody outside of overpaying Stephon Diggs is willing to do, and add a little playmaking there for Drake May. Like I understand it's like not ideally how you want to build it, but I think I go Travis Hunter here.
All right. So you and Damon going Travis Hunter. Vito and
let us do it, or are you just gonna?
Yes. Come on now. I'm not gonna sabotage this mock when we got 30 picks to go.
Right. You'll sabotage.
But I also
16.
I don't want to post this mock and be like, oh, the PFF, simulator, PHNX Cardinals win chalk. Like I want some juice, man. I want some fun.
I hear you.
Here's what's not going to happen though. T-Mac as the 3rd overall player is a tough look because I think he's going to be hanging out for a second, Damon. I hate that you have to keep looking at that too, brother.
This is brutal. You just come out of gates like you did, and then that comment, it's just nasty, dude.
Bo, do you think we could find a way to sneak Scat in the back end of this first round here? Like, you got to think a Chiefs team, right? Like, the way that they ran the football this year, they could use a dude like Skattebo.
Man,
hey, let's get on task here.
He's so mad that we overrode him there, that he just was swinging. He was just,
I'll help this.
He's windmilling.
Let's just do this. Let's just pretend. Let's just move down here. All right. So,
well, I agree. I mean, I know we want to avoid chalk, but with Jacksonville now on the clock in our mock, I think Mason Graham's probably the bet here. What were you thinking?
I mean, Will Campbell, I still would argue should be in consideration, but yeah, we're just chalk city here on PHNX Cardinals. Get out your thing of chalk, whatever color you want.
Right. I mean,
green, red.
Not just Mason Graham. Like, I think this is where Membo can start to get into the conversation.
Yeah.
Because then you're deciding who you feel like is a franchise left tackle.
Little info for you guys right now. Membu is -270 to be the first O lineman selected.
Wow.
As of right now. So pretty heavy favorite to be the first O lineman off the board.
Damon, that's good insight. We will keep that handy here. I think Mason Graham is the play. I have no issue with that. Damon, you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think that makes sense here.
Now we can have some fun. Now we lean into the acumen of our guy, Benjamin Albright, who has been staunchly committed to the notion that Pete Carroll is going to take Ashton Jeanty. Any argument to the contrary? Because I feel like this pick, put it in the pipeline. I mean, I don't think the Jets or the Panthers are going to take Jeanty, but I think every team after the fact, Saints, Bears, Niners would all salivate. So, Bo, what do you think? Jeanty here?
I mean, it's a new day in Vegas, right? But then you still got the same old ownership. They've got a decent tackle, the guy that the Cardinals traded away, the ability that the Raiders took with the Rosen trade back. They took Colton Miller, who's decent, right? So, like, would they get somebody, move him over? Or if they did go tackle here, you look at like Pete Carroll in the Seahawks and his whole run there. Always had a good stable of backs. It makes sense. I mean, I would imagine that Pete Carroll also, who leaned on his defense to win a lot of football games, he might be trying to angle towards one of these really talented defensive players. But yeah, Jeanty just seems to be the guy that keeps coming up.
I subscribe to the Church of Benjamin Albright, and he told us at the Combine that the Raiders are picking Ashton Jeanty, and he said it with so much conviction that I've never been more certain of anything in my entire life.
Take me to church, Ben. That's right.
And he even said that he might double down in the draft in the position, but go high here with Ashton Jeanty. Let's just do it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's move on.
I think I feel better about that pick than 99% of the picks we've made so far. Jets are on the clock. I mean, it's hard to even know where to start with this franchise. They don't have a lot of good players. They do have some corners, and I think they could use a pass rusher. And again, we'll have to get creative here because I think the PFF mock draft simulator, conventional wisdom, some of these picks are kind of buried that should be in consideration. But best available player remains Will Campbell or Membo. Now, they took a tackle high, and I actually think their offensive line is fine. Are you either of you staunchly committed to a specific player one way or the other here?
Not committed, but I kind of like Tyler Warren here. I think there's some legs to it.
Man.
I saw on Instagram today, they just had like a history of bad Jet first round pick after bad first round pick.
Tight end is currently the favorite for the Jets to be drafted.
Is that the one where they were like, we want Sapp. We want Sapp. When they wanted Warren Sapp, and they would take like fullbacks. They
took a tight end. Yeah, they also took a fullback in the first round. It was unbelievable. So you got Justin Fields now as your quarterback. Your QB1.
Electric.
People are going to be salivating all over Breece Hall again. Yeah, but you mentioned Olu Fashanu, one of the top tackles in last draft. He is with the Jets. They got Vera Tucker, also another highly drafted offensive lineman.
Let's go Tyler Warren here. Damon, I'm with you. I want to get gross. I want some of these teams to do stupid things, poor decision-making. I want to push some of these elite defenders down. I don't care who's coaching the Jets now. I know who owns the Jets, who operates the New York Jets. The Jets, remember everybody last year? They're like, Jets have a top roster. Blah, blah, blah. This kid had 1,200 yards. This kid's an elite prospect. He just happens to play a position that I don't particularly care for. Damon, you and I are on Tyler Warren. Bo, what say you?
Go for it. Take Ty Warren. He was one of those guys that Fran Duffy said would go before the Cardinals go at 16. He's pretty confident him and Jeanty will be off the board. So they're both off the board back to back here.
Now it gets interesting. I think tackle 1,000% here. I know it's not a conventional need, but I think if you can get the best tackle on the board at pick 8 for your franchise quarterback who's already undersized, there's no receiver worthy of here, respectfully. I have both Membo and Campbell ahead of any available edge rusher and defensive back. I mean, I think Will Campbell or Membo is the pick here, gentlemen.
Who do we have in terms of defensive players available?
I mean, you're looking at like Michael Williams. You're looking at Shemar Stewart.
Jalen Walker. We'll go find him down here somewhere. Here he is, buried. Come on, Sycamore. Mike Green, Will Johnson. I mean, I feel like Carolina, you're still in make Bryce Young work mode. And this is where I get on
wide receiver 1.
This is where I get on Brett Brennan, where it's like, this is where T-Mac was supposed to go.
I think there's still a chance. I really do. I think that this marriage makes sense. So I really do think that this is like T-Mac's realistic ceiling in terms of where he can go. I don't know if he is off the board yet, but it makes sense to me.
Can we burn a pick and do it?
I don't think it'd be burning a pick. But they're not that talented on the defensive side of the football.
They're bad. But do you have to be in the NFC South? I'm not sure you do.
I know Jalen Walker is from North Carolina. I mean, I know that doesn't mean all that much, but like,
I think
that's been a popular pick to the Panthers here.
What's Vegas say, Damon?
Vegas likes D lineman, edge, or linebacker, and then wide receiver third.
So
Right.
too early for Walter Nolan.
Look at these tackles
And the
fall.
rest of the interior defensive linemen. I think they're actually decent at corner. Man. I don't want to just like throw their pick away.
I'm with that. Let's give him Jalen Walker. I've seen Jalen Walker mocked in every top 10. He's a top 12 to 15 prospect. Either I'll do Jalen Walker or T-Mac. You guys pick.
Let's do Walker.
Yeah, they need a lot of help on the defensive side. Let's go, Jalen.
All right, Jalen Walker goes 8th overall to Carolina. I mean, Saints now. Tackle. We finally get a tackle off the board here, gentlemen.
This is like the most wild card one on DraftKings right now.
Okay.
Just
what are they
in
saying?
terms of it, just like it's all over the place. All of the position groups are
They're in
even
such
essentially.
cap hell.
They have nobody.
They're
What
in
about
such cap hell that
what about this right here? Any appetite for that?
No.
Somebody had him in the top 15 recently. No
Yeah.
appetite for that? Okay. Just throwing that out there. Jackson Dart for our audio only listeners. Tease that up.
This is where you don't want to see T-Mac go.
I mean, I do. I want to see that. I'd like that.
It'd be a cool jersey, but yeah, from a career perspective,
I think they go local product, Will Campbell. I think they take the kid in their backyard.
Not bad. I mean,
I like it.
I like Membo. Maybe going ahead, but yeah, you're right. Played at nearby LSU in Baton Rouge. Let's do it.
And then I think we tee out. I mean, the Chicago Bears, turn your brain on. Membo can come in and just immediately become the man of Greg Bragg Jr.'s dreams.
First off, he would be heartbroken. Will Campbell goes a spot above the Bears, but I think this would be a nice little consolation prize.
Now we're starting to put the puzzle pieces together. You guys cool with this?
Yeah.
And the Niners are sick.
Oh man,
because they wanted Membu so bad right there.
Eat it, Shanny. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Hopefully they're the team that reaches for a safety at 11.
Yeah, I think they go edge rusher. I think we got to give them an edge or a defensive tackle here.
Who do you think they would like the most?
Oh man. I mean,
because it still seems pretty early for Nolan and for Kenneth Grant.
For sure.
Guys.
I would say
you got Shemar Stewart.
What about Will Johnson?
I mean, they lost Ward, but their secondary seems to be like
they could use a corner.
They lost that other corner too. Remember, they had a corner. I can't remember. The chat's gonna have to help me. It was their top corner during their Super Bowl run, and then he had a miscarriage. He and his wife lost it.
Yeah, he's on the Indianapolis now.
Yeah, and he left. They don't have a top corner.
Let me ask you guys this: do you think that if they can get rid of Ayuk, that T-Mac is an option here for the Niners?
I think they're gonna Juwan Jennings, who they paid, and
yeah, that's a similar build.
Yeah, I think Mike Green and Will Johnson and Mykel Williams. I think those are the guys. Then we know how the Niners like to draft. They go edge, they go tackle. I can't remember them drafting a corner high now that I think of it in the Shanahan era. I probably go defensive line here. Who are the best available edge rushers, defensive linemen? Is outside of that, like maybe a Kelvin Banks Jr., but that's a little rich, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys decide. I think we have to go defensive line here.
Yeah, I don't know if they go with the toolsy guy or if they go with the productive guy. I mean, Nick Bosa was both when they last took one. Second overall. So I'm looking at like Michael Williams, Shemar Stewart, or Mike Green.
I think you go Mike Green here.
All right. Let's give him the Marshall product.
It's too good. Dallas, I think we go T-Mac here. I think you go Tedero McMillan.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I think you go T-Mac here. I think this is pick 12 will be a godsend for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
They're wide out to go this high. They have no receivers. They love taking receivers in the first round. He complements CeeDee Lamb really well. Any issue with that, Bo?
No, let's do it. Our friends over at DLLS have been doing their homework on T-Mac. Good write-up from our guy Joe Hoyt. Check it out.
All right,
yeah,
David. Now is your time to shine, my guy.
All right, let's take a peek at this board here.
I'm not going to be happy when Damon's rolling in the studio with a Dallas Cowboys uniform on, or jersey, T-shirt jersey of T-Mac.
Yeah, that would be kind of gross.
Jersey.
I think the Dolphins go with one of these cornerbacks here. I think that's just how the board's played out. I think you take Barron or Will Johnson, and I think I'll go with Will Johnson. But I do like Barron too.
It's a good choice.
Texas DB.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any love for Jahad Campbell? Is that it? That feels like a Dolphins pick, maybe.
I think the Dolphins tend to pick premier positions in the first round.
Okay. We'll go Will Johnson here.
They do need D linemen bad, but I just think the way that board played out, you got to go with corner.
All right. We're going to do two more, and then we're going to break before the Cardinals here coming up.
Indianapolis Colts are a absolute wild card.
They have a terrible owner. Their GM should have been fired. Their head coach is overrated and will be fired. They have Danny Dimes and Anthony Richardson. By wild card, do you mean dumpster fire? I think you go a number of different directions. I mean, couldn't you see them taking Campbell here? It's like, hey, let's get a solid football player.
Yeah.
Malachi Starks here too, I think. I have no idea. I have no idea.
You could rule out Colston Loveland either.
My God. Nice franchise.
That's what the betting sites like, Bo.
They do?
I mean, they're like plus 180 to get Tyler Warren and plus 130 to get a tight end overall.
Let's do it. Colston Loveland. Hammer it.
All right.
Anthony Richardson. You know what'll help your completion percentage? Let's just load up on tight ends, bro. All right. Feels like by default here we have to give the Falcons an edge rusher. So is this where James Pierce Jr. goes?
Yeah, I think if Mike Green's off the board,
Georgia guy,
Michael Williams.
Yeah.
Okay,
Falcons.
bro.
Yeah.
They could be one of those teams though that they take like Shemar Stewart.
I could see it.
You know, they just fall in love with his makeup, like his measurables and his workouts, and they just don't give a crap about the production. I mean, that's kind of how they've done the last couple drafts.
This board's fallen pretty well for the Cardinals regardless.
No, is it fallen too well?
No, I think this is, listen, it's our mock. We can do whatever we want. I think as much as I like Mykel Williams, I think James Pierce Jr. You're right, Damon. Local product. I've been leaning into the local product a lot. You guys decide. You guys pick. James, I think you're doing James Pierce Jr. or Mykel Williams here.
I say we go Mykel.
Yeah, we get Mykel. We get him a nice Waymo credit. You can just get to and from the facility without having to get behind the wheel.
Yikes. All right, we're taking a break.
Okay.
We're going to assess after the break. We're going to debrief, and then we're going to do cards and the rest of the first round. Hit that like. It's PHNX Cardinals.
If you're enjoying the mock draft that we're doing, all 32 picks, you're going to enjoy what's going on with our friends over at Pure Edibles. You like fine things. You like great quality things. And that's because Pure Edibles is all about that, right? They're available in over 130 dispensaries statewide. They were, of course, born up in Flagstaff, up the I-17. Now they're in the big leagues down here in Phoenix. Pure Gummies, they're not covered in sugar like all their competitors, but they are a full-fledged candy company. Don't get that mixed up. They're offering gummies. They're offering kicks that are just like Starburst, chews that are soft candies like caramel, and the hard candies. And all their effects, they're clearly listed on the tin. So you know expect as far as what to effects to expect with our friends over at Pure Edibles. They're not messing around. They want you to have the best experience possible when dipping into the gummies. Pure Effects right there on the 10. They offer gummies for sleep support, as well as candies for uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, and CBD with marijuana derived from THC. Check them out. Pure Edibles, they're gummies designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable and easy to dial in that exact dose. Check them out in the one of 130 dispensaries in Arizona. Pure Edibles. Find out for yourself with the best candy company that's making all those pure edible products you're looking for. Pure Edibles.
Love our friends at Pure Edibles. Love our friends at Circle K. It's America's thirst stop. Join the inner circle for free. So easy to download. Enter your email, your phone number to be fully enrolled. After that, all you need is your phone number to get those deals. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day. And again, plenty of other member-exclusive deals and discounts. Join the inner circle for free. They've got 79-cent Polar Pops, Frosters. They've got exclusive snacks and deals that you can't get anywhere else. Perfect time as it becomes triple digits here in the desert to stay hydrated. Join the inner circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com, Bo, for more details. And speaking of details, Bo, we got all the deets on our upcoming draft party, April 24th. Tell us about it, Bo, at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. We were going through the numbers today. There are still tickets available, Bo, but we want to see you there ready to party on draft night.
You guys are doing a great job buying up some of those tickets and filling this thing out. But look, we don't believe that this inventory is going to last much longer. Join us at the draft party, April 24th, the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar, of course, Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. It's presented by our friends over at Circle K, and they're going to hook you up with as much food as you can stuff your face with as you're cheering on the Redbirds as they get to potentially pick 16 in the NFL draft. And also you get 3 drink tickets and, of course, all the immaculate vibes that the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar and PHNX Sports will deliver that night. It's going to be a banger. If it's anything like last year, it's going to be better. We can't wait for Draft Day Live with PHNX Cardinals. Get your tickets today. Go phnx.com/events. We'll get you there. You can find it on our socials at PHNX_Cardinals. And you can find it in the description here on this YouTube channel.
We're fired up for the NFL draft with all of you. But again, get your tickets in now. I promise you they will sell out. Did we sell out with our first 15 picks of our 2025 NFL mock draft? Gentlemen, as we debrief here, Arizona Cardinals about to come on the clock here. Are we doing too much of a homer fest with some of these picks? We've got 2 tight ends and T-Mac, which is really the biggest curveball thus far, because I think it's been relatively chalk outside of that.
Well, it was kind of one of the discussions we had earlier this week where it was like the worst of all realities for the Cardinals. And it was like, if you didn't have 2 quarterbacks go off the board, or the running back in Ashton Jeanty, or one of these tight ends, not some of the non-defensive front 7 players that they'll want to covet in this defensive front 7 rich draft, the top tier guys. Yeah. But so far, this board has kind of broke that way for the Cardinals, outside of like Mike Green, and he might not even be on the board for him just because of the concerns off the field. But he's not there, and we had Michael Williams just go off to the Falcons, a pick in front of him. Yeah, but still a lot of opportunity to upgrade what we view as their biggest need here in that defensive front 7. But things going very much in the direction of the Cardinals as far as who needed to go off. We had about 5 to 6 prospects, including Cam Ward, who seems just to be a lock to be 1-1, that need to go off the board before the Cardinals pick, and we're there right now.
Yeah, and I do feel like early picks can go chalk because Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Abdul Carter are what many people believe, maybe sans Shedeur, are the best players in this draft. And then it's going to be a little bit of a free-for-all. We got a running back from Boise State going 6 overall. That tells me this draft can go a number of different directions. Let's jump back into it, gentlemen. I'm going to share my screen once again. We're going to pick up where we left off. We got over 700 people watching live. Hit that like button if you like what we see. We do a daily show every single day here at 4:30 Arizona time. It's PHNX Cardinals, and it's the Arizona Cardinals, Bo, on the clock. And
let's just recap real quick. Let me just run through these top 15 picks. Cam Ward, 1-1. Abdul Carter, 2. to the Browns. Shedeur Sanders, 3 to the Giants. Travis Hunter goes 4th to the Patriots. Mason Graham, 5th to the Jags. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. Ty Warren to the Jets. Jalen Walker to the Carolina Panthers. Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU, to the Saints. Membu goes to the Bears. They get their starting left tackle. Mike Green goes to the division rival 49ers at 11th. T-Mac, Tetaroa McMillan going 12th to the Cowboys. Will Johnson going to Sweet Baby Damon's beloved Miami Dolphins, 13th overall. You got Colston Loveland. He's going to the Indianapolis Colts. We all laugh at them, point and laugh. And then Michael Williams goes to the Atlanta Falcons as they seek an edge rusher. They go local just up the road in Athens, Georgia. Michael Williams and the Cardinals are officially on the clock with some really good options here.
Okay, full transparency. I want to trade. I want more picks. And then I want to come up and have another pick. I want to end this mock draft with 2 first-rounders. Does anybody have an appetite for that? Why are you laughing? I'm being sincere here.
Oh, wait, you want to trade down?
Yeah, I want to go. So Tampa's on the clock right here. So 19 for 16, and then you ask for 53, right? Try to get their second, and then use 47 and another pick to come up and get another player before the end of the first round. That's where I'm at. How does anybody I want to strategize that with the squad right now. How does anybody feel about that?
Well, you'd probably have to give up a future first if you wanted to do that.
I don't know about that. I think you could give up 47 and 78 or 53 and 78 if we do this trade. I'm trying to get a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman both on 5th-year rookie deals. Chat, back me up. How's that appease to everybody here?
So what, you're thinking you want to get back in to get Josh Simmons? Is that your play?
I do. Yep,
that's
the play.
Yeah, you'd have to probably get pretty high back in, low 20s.
It's fine if you guys aren't up for it. If you guys aren't man enough for it.
Just think it would take a lot of draft capital. I think it would take a lot of draft capital.
To go up 15, 16 spots? Come on now. To go up with Kansas City or the Eagles or Buffalo? Come on.
Yeah, it usually takes a big time draft capital commitment to do that.
Okay, let's cross that bridge when we get there. Tampa, 19 and 53 for 16. We're doing that deal, right? That's a deal we would do.
Well, since we're controlling Tampa too, who are they coming up for? Like, what do they need that they're like, we need James Pierce Jr.
guard. I mean, the next 3 teams need defensive linemen.
Jumping the Bengals for JPJ.
But
I don't mind it.
Guess what the Cardinals also need?
I think you got to exit this little period right here with either. Why are you laughing?
Victor saying, "Do it, Johnny." Kermit time.
That's right, Kermit time.
What a dangerous precedent.
Listen,
reckless.
We got. Listen, Shemar Stewart, James Pierce Jr., Derek Harmon, Moulton Lowen. I'm comfortable with any of those 4 players, and I think you do this deal. If they accept it, I think you do this deal, and you hope that. Listen, kid out of Texas. We're making these picks so we can manipulate this however we want here.
That's not
Cincinnati might take Tyler Booker here. You never know. What do you guys think?
I'm out on that.
You're out on the deal, Damon. Are you in or
First
you out?
off, I don't think that this draft is good enough to want to have to give up the capital to get back into the first round.
I'm trying to get 2 firsts. Damon, how do you feel about that?
I'll be honest, I don't love the 2 firsts, but I'm fine with this trade down. I think that you make a good point about there's a handful of players on the board right now that look good, and if this is a move that can be made, I don't see the issue in trying to get a little bit of extra draft capital.
Squeeze it. Let's
don't love
that. Offer trade. The trade has not been accepted.
Okay. Hang up the phone and refocus yourself.
All right. There is another team that wants to trade. It's the Green Bay Packers. Any
How
interest?
far down you have to go for that? They were in the playoffs.
23 for 16.
Yeah.
What about a future 1 here? Any interest in offering this? We only get 1 pick here. I'm trying to make the most of it.
Why would they give up a future 1 to get to 16th overall?
They love the interior offensive lineman from North Dakota State. They feel like he's worth 2 1s.
Got to keep him wearing yellow and green.
That's right. All right, we can stop this.
Sorry, Johnny. I know you wanted to have some fun, and I know we're just a wet blanket on you.
You are. You're wet blanket boys. I was trying to come up. We might still come up. You never know. We got capital. We're coming up. All right. James Pierce Jr. I think it's James Pierce Jr. or Shemar Stewart. What do you think?
I want Kenneth Grant. I'm throwing that wrench in here.
Do you see Walter Nolan's measurements today too? 6'3", over 300 pounds.
He's a healthy boy. Here's what Kenneth Grant's in my opinion, an elite player. I did see his bench was a little underwhelming, about 22 reps at 225. I still, Damon, I'm with you. I love him as a prospect. I still think, I know they want to take another edge rusher. And two of the best edge rushers are available here. We don't know how they feel about James Pierce Jr. They brought Shemar Stewart in from the combine to Arizona for a top 30 visit. You couple that with how much Ossenfort is a sicko for RAS and what he did last year, malpractice with Tip Ryman in the top 100. I think Shemar Stewart would be the pick here. That's where I'm at right now.
Man, I'm not happy with that. 4.5 sacks, not productive against the run. You can say what you want about Texas A&M and their defensive scheme.
Why'd they bring him in? They like him. They like him.
Yeah, man.
You love James Pierce Jr.
I like James Pierce Jr. I also like Walter Nolan a lot.
So we can't see. This is why I'm trying to trade down. We can't make a decision. We need the decision to be made for us. Okay.
Who would you trade down with? So you want to trade down to the Bucks at 19?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we go 19 for 16, 53. We'll kick
back.
Won't
do 53. Okay.
We'll kick back some scraps here. We'll kick back 152. We'll offer this.
A little sweetener.
Come on, Tampa. Come on, Light. All right.
Just get a third. You're only trading down 3 picks.
And a fourth. All right. Trade's been accepted.
All right. Now you're the Bucks. You're the one that was dead set on getting up the board. Who do they want?
They want JPJ.
They want
Jihad. They're not coming up to get Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, Damon's right. They want an edge rusher. As of the recording of this podcast, they haven't paid Trey Hendrickson yet either. JPJ, or they could take I think D tackle too for sure, but
they've got Vita Vea.
No, I'm thinking Bengals. Yeah. Bengals go D line.
Let's go JPJ here.
Okay. Bengals.
And then I think that the Bengals could go with Shemar Stewart.
Yeah, doesn't that feel like a Bengals
pick? Kenneth Grant works too.
Or Barron.
I'm gonna go Kenneth Grant here.
Who was your pick, Damon?
I said or Barron. I feel like that's a team that just needs Texas? Any defensive player, and that's the best defensive player on the board.
Hey, Damon, I like it. Force it. Let's do it, Damon. Seattle needs an edge rusher. Seattle gets Shemar Stewart here. So we're going to pick between Walter Nolan and Kenneth Grant. Everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Shemar Stewart goes to the Seahawks. Cardinals are going one of these two bad boys here.
I want Walter Nolan.
And Damon wants Kenneth Grant. I like Walter Nolan more than Kenneth Grant, Damon. Are you okay with that?
I actually do too, I think, at the end of the day.
Okay. Walter Nolan, to me, he's just his first step is so fast. I think Kenneth Grant is a tremendous fallback option. So is Derek Harmon, by the way. But Walter Nolan is a firm top 15 player for me. So let's go Walter Nolan. And now we're equipped, gentlemen. When we get down here, the Cardinals, by the way, have a relationship with the Detroit Lions. I want everybody to keep that in mind because we're going to use that later. Denver Broncos are on the clock here. Are they the benefactors of Malachi Starks or Jihad Campbell falling for our guy Vance Joseph?
Can I just ask the question real quick? Johnny's a big narrative guy in the draft, right? And the Cardinals just selected a defensive lineman out of Ole Miss in the first round. Johnny, does that give you any pause as a guy who says straight up no ACC defenders? The entire conference
where does Ole Miss play?
over.
I'm sorry, where's Ole Miss play?
The SEC.
Okay, Thank you.
Robert Kimdiche vibes. Is that what we're talking about?
Correct.
Wow.
Animal in the SEC.
Let me just ask you this, Damon. Has Walter Nolan fallen out of a hotel window high on what is it? What was the strain of weed he was on? It wasn't like
K2. Is it like synthetic
it
weed?
was synthetic. That's what
He
it was.
also owned a pet panther. He came from wealth, did not love football. I think there are some little smidge differences between he and Walter Nolan. Just throwing that out there. Denver Broncos here. I think they have the opportunity to go BPA. What about Luther Burden?
I was going to say I like Matthew Golden.
Those
So
receivers,
similar vibes.
I think you could go those receivers. You could even look back at a running back.
My God, look what he did against ASU. I'll do Matthew Golden, Damon. I have no issue with that. Good with that, Bo?
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about something that we heard earlier this week. The Pittsburgh Steelers love Jalen Milroe. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a bad franchise right now. They don't have a quarterback. I like Jalen Milroe, not in the first round. Will you guys entertain right around where they took Kenny Pickett, by the way? Will you guys entertain Jalen Milroe at pick 21?
No.
Damon?
I feel like they might entertain Amari and Hampton at pick 21.
Because they probably could wait until when are they up on the board again at like 55 to take
or to trade back
Jalen Milroe there.
They're going offense here. They're either going O-line, tackle. Yeah, Hampton. I don't hate it, Damon.
Who's on the O-line available?
Josh Simmons.
Kelvin Banks Jr. Kelvin Banks Jr., I think, for most people is rated higher than Josh Simmons. Zabel. Tyler Booker. I mean, they could have their pick of best available offensive lineman or the best running back. Which you guys like? Here, I'll do this. Me. All right. This is who they're picking from. Scat.
Yeah, probably Banks.
I think Banks too. Kelvin Banks Jr. All right. Chargers on the clock. They love going offensive line. They love going line of scrimmage, and they are delivering a little sweet treat here. Does this make too much sense not to happen?
I mean, they let Poona Ford go in free agency. They only signed former Cardinals great Naquan Jones to their defensive line.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kenneth Grant could make sense. Amari and Hampton would make a lot of sense too. J.K. Dobbins, did he ever sign elsewhere?
No, but they signed what's his name from the Steelers?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
I think we go Kenneth Grant here.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I bet you Jim Harbaugh loves Kenneth Grant.
Packers are on the clock. As much as people say they need a wideout, and they do, they don't take him in the first round. This kid out of Boston College screams Green Bay Packer.
More so than Gray Zabel?
Yeah, their defense isn't good enough.
What about corner?
Yeah, Jair Alexander's still on the roster. I mean, this is probably the guys we're picking from.
So you like Azaraku from BC?
Probably.
Okay.
I think they lean into the strength of this draft. Vikings on the clock. I mean, their tackles got hurt last year, but they're good when healthy.
Did you see O'Connell, or they had Vikings brass was scouting? No, I'm thinking Stefanski. Stefanski was looking at Jackson Dart at their pro day.
At some point, we got to give Malachi Starks and Jihad Campbell to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Houston gets Campbell next because their head coach was a linebacker.
I don't hate Malachi Starks here.
I don't either.
As like a Harrison Smith replacement long term.
Yeah, I think defensive secondary would be a good spot, regardless if it's a DB or a safety.
I just feel like you're benefactor. You get maybe a top 12 player, but it's a poor position. 24.
And you go back, so Houston now on the clock, and they've done a decent job. They've done a decent job. That's a good point by Hannibal. So the former BC coach is there in Green Bay. This is where you look at like Simmons, or another offensive lineman for Houston who's reworking that position group.
Definitely O-line.
Yeah.
All right, we'll rip the Band-Aid off here. Josh Simmons goes to the Houston Texans.
Here's a pick you're probably going to hate. I think that they take like Derek Harmon.
Yeah.
Or somebody that's just going to kick the Cardinals' ass.
No, they've got Fisk and they've got Byron Young. He's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kobe Turner.
I think they could go wide out here. Or no, they got Devontae.
O-line and corner are the heavy favorites for the Rams.
They need a tackle, right? They've got one tackle.
Just give him Zabel. Just say figure it out with Zabel. I'm fine with that.
I think Conley Jr., despite him getting murdered by Mike Green at the Senior Bowl, pretty good.
I like that.
Why not?
All right, Conley Jr. All right, and then Ravens.
That's a D-line team.
We'll go Derek Harmon here.
They could get one of those. Yeah, they could get Derek Harmon. They could get one of those 6 safeties.
They're actually a team that could get I know that they have Roquan Smith, but they're totally a team that would draft a Jahad Campbell, and he'd be the best linebacker in football.
I like that, Damon. We're doing that. All right, here we go. We've been waiting. It's our time to shine. You come on. All right, 47-28, and then kickback. Oh wow, they don't have an appetite for this at all.
But they know they've got ties, Johnny. Does this simulator not consider the ties?
Do you see the condescending nature of his voice, Damon? All right. So Cardinals would basically be punting on day 2 after this. I know people wouldn't be a fan of that. I mean, if I'm the Lions, I'd probably do this deal. This is a hell of a deal.
Who are you taking?
This is a hell of a deal. We'll figure that out here in a second. All right,
no.
Well, what about one of these?
You think Monty approaches it that way, Bo? He just trades up and then he goes, "All right, fellas, who are we? Who do you guys want?"
I think Detroit goes
just shooting from the hip.
I think Detroit goes Harmon here.
I think they go maybe like Gray Zabel.
What?
Yeah, just continue to build one of their biggest strength, that offensive line.
Damon, you pick.
They need D-line bad.
They do.
Are there any edge rushers available?
Scourton. I know their fan base really likes Landon Jackson.
I like that pick for them. I think that's a guy who, at the back end of the first round, 8 at the combine, is probably an early second rounder in most of our minds.
Your friend.
Of course, he's my best friend. And
Johnny,
I bet,
Johnny made the pick already.
As knowing Landon Jackson personally, like I do, I know that Dan Campbell would love him.
Washington on the clock now. I think they go wide out again here.
Like Buka.
I think
it's not bad.
I like that.
Another Ohio State player. But they got Debo, so they'd have Scary Terry, Debo, and Ibuka.
Scary Terry or Debo's old and washed. He's just gonna play underneath. Ibuka can play outside with Scary Terry.
They wouldn't work on the offensive line. They wouldn't get a guy like
they traded for that tackle from Houston. I mean, I
think Thornton from Texas A&M could be in play here. Like, did they do anything to improve the edge?
I mean, they're getting good value. These receivers, man, can't sell them. Can't sell them off. Not a position group that's valued this year. I mean, we really had to fight for that T-Mac pick at pick 12. I mean, you're probably right, Bo. They were supposed to get an edge rusher in free agency. They didn't. We'll do Scourton. All right for everybody.
Yeah, that works for me.
All right, so bear with me here. I just want to engage the Buffalo Bills for a second because I know Buffalo traded down last year and everybody yelled at them. Remember that? And so 30-47. Okay, again, no appetite here, which is that's surprising to me. I mean,
I just want to know who the target is.
Yeah, who do you want, Johnny?
Who don't I want? Derek Harmon, and
we just took a DT.
All the edge rushers are gone. Never mind. This is a disaster. This would be a disaster. All right, the trade up dream is dead, and it's because of all of you. Bills are on the clock. Can they go wide out again after taking the kid out of Florida State last year who dropped everything?
He did. Keon Coleman actually had a pretty decent rookie season.
Yeah, he was fine.
You know who I like for the Bills here? Call me crazy. I like that South Carolina safety the guy who had a great combine.
Yeah.
You want the Bills to be
He was
bad.
a monster. They just finally got rid of Elam, right? The Dallas Cowboys were like, sure, we'll take that on.
Damon, though, they
I
re-signed
don't mind that.
They re-signed what's his name?
Him and more worry.
They might take Harmon too.
Yeah. Derek Harmon actually just screams Bill to me. I don't know why.
All right, let's do it. Kansas City Chiefs, not Super Bowl champions on the clock. Zabel here, I think, is the play.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little replacement for Joe Tooney.
Oh, look, he didn't have a great game against my alma mater. That's right. That's right. Zabel. That's how I know you can't play. 6'6", 5 position linemen. Sounds like Andy Reid. And now we come across the last pick of our mock draft here. Somehow the Eagles need a wideout and an edge.
I think they go Darius Alexander here.
You don't think they would just stash like Burden or Buka and then get rid of one of their wideouts in a year or two?
That's not how they operate. They're a D-line, O-line factory.
All right. Howie's taken first-round receivers before, but
the only thing I would be, well, I guess they took Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo last year. They probably would take Darius Alexander out of Toledo at defensive line.
I mean, yeah, look what he did against the one Power 5 school he faced. He dominated. All right. I have no issue with that.
They're a team that they clearly have a lot of Georgia players on their team. Like, they obviously watch film of a guy and then lock in on other players. So maybe watching some Quinyon Mitchell film, they're like, this Darius Alexander guy's not half bad.
Well, a lot of defensive linemen went, especially in the late teens and the 20s, which should give any of us pause. If you guys are trying to take linemen and corners at pick 16, you can see here the trajectory with the Cardinals trading down between Mike Green, Mykel Williams, James Pierce Jr. I mean, I'm counting right now on the top of my head. I think there was about double-digit defensive linemen that went between 11 and 32. It's the strength of the draft. So
yeah,
let
me run down from the Cardinals pick here.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Cardinals, we had them trading down from 16 to 19. We got a 3rd round pick to drop 3 spots
and a 4th.
The Bucks make sure to get the true value in there. Sorry, Johnny, I don't want to discount that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Bucks came up to get James Pierce Jr. And then next on the clock was the Bengals. They take Barron, the defensive back out of Texas. Seattle takes Shemar Stewart. Cardinals on the clock at 19. We landed on Walter Nolan, defensive lineman from Ole Miss, 6'3", over 300 pounds. Just a beast, good motor. Matthew Golden goes to the Broncos at 20. Kelvin Banks goes to the Steelers at 21. Kenneth Grant goes and reunites with Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. You have Donovan Ezaraku, the edge rusher, goes to Green Bay. Malachi Starks goes to the Vikings. Josh Simmons, coming off the knee injury, goes and plays tackle for the Texans with C.J. Stroud. You got Josh Connerly. Connerly goes to the L.A. Rams.
Reach.
Josh Campbell even goes to the Ravens at 27. Landon Jackson makes his way in the first round, 28th overall, to the Lions. Nick Squarton goes to the Commanders at 29. 30, Derek Harmon goes to the Bills. Gray Zabel goes to the Chiefs. And then Darius Alexander. Eagles keep up the tradition of taking a defensive lineman in the first round.
I love the idea of picking a player for a team that is a rival of ours and then making fun of them for picking that player. Losers.
What a terrible pick. Awful.
Josh Conley's a day 2 pick at best. Sean McVay, you'll know what you're doing. You've lost it. That was fun. Did everybody have fun with that? Drop us a like. We got almost 1,000 people watching on a Friday. We appreciate all of you. I think we'll do one more before the draft, and it will be a true rotation where Bo, Damon, and I rotate every 3 picks. But we played nice for that. I will be honest. Like, I went into that before the show committed that we were going to trade back up in the first round. I was disappointed with the lack of appetite for a trade up, And I also just feel like, again, if you were in the camp of not taking a defensive lineman early,
Yeah.
I hope you're ready for scraps.
Here's my homework that I'm gonna give to you then. Okay. If you want to trade back up, at least give Damon and I in the chat a name. Because each time you wanted to trade back up, we said for who, and you're like, it's fun, bro. Just let me do it.
I don't talk like that. No, here's the problem. The problem was we all like the same players like Landon Jackson, et cetera. It would be for a player like that. If you take Walter Nolan, come up for an edge rusher, an offensive tackle, well, all those guys went, right? So I feel like at the end of the day, this is a win for Monti Ossenfort, a win for our mock draft. But when we're doing our own mock drafts and we control everything, we control the narrative, I expect the Cardinals to come out of it with 2 first-round picks. I want this team to just start stacking first-round picks, whatever it may be. Ozzy's saying maybe Captain Jack. What if I would have traded up for multiple picks to take Jack Sawyer at the end of the first round?
Jack Sawyer and Cam Skattebo, 2 of Johnny's darlings, just battling it out who could plummet the draft board harder.
Don't you dare, Bo.
They got cement shoes on, and they're just plummeting the draft board together.
Who do you think will go higher between the 2 of those guys?
Oh, my God. It's a great question, Damon. That is an unbelievable.
At this point, I kind of think Scat's going to go higher right now. If you had to ask me today.
Probably. I think so, too.
Jack Sawyer has no juice. No one's seen him or heard from him since the combine. I haven't seen anything on him. What has happened to him?
Lego Jack.
Let's get to these super chats. Reezy baby, $10. I still can't believe you guys labeled a tweener linebacker and an edge off injury as best case scenario picks, especially with Darius and BJ history. Hashtag flabbergasted. Well, who's the one coming off injury for best case scenario?
David, we put up our graphic that we had on yesterday's show. Yeah, here it is. Best case scenario. We had Jalen Walker. That's the tweener he's talking about. And then who was the other one? Is he talking about Michael Williams?
Yeah, must be. I mean, he's healthy now, and he played this year, so I don't really consider that coming off major injury. Like, did he have surgery? Is he on crutches? I think he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it. All right. Reezy baby, I disagree, but appreciate it, man. $10. Very generous and always a loyal viewer of the show. Angel jumping in. $1.99. Keep up the great content and work. Thank you, Angel. Really appreciate that.
You keep it up, Angel. Indy, $5.
Indigenous
daddy. How about
Indigenous daddy, and Johnny's giving him an Indy nickname. I love it.
What if they draft Will Johnson at 16, then Landon Jackson in the second round? Would you be upset with that? It wouldn't be my preference. You can certainly do worse. But as we just outlined, Indy, in our mock draft, I do think that it's like last year. What was the narrative we had last year? If you don't take Marv at 4 or a wideout, you are dead by 27 at that position. And we saw all the other receivers went, and you're talking about, and I didn't love Ladd McConkey, that kind of player at the end of the first round, and that's not what the Cardinals needed. I'm in the same camp now. If you don't go edge or defensive lineman at 16, you're dead by 47. You got no shot in a draft where everybody knows that's the top position group. I just don't think you can screw around with that. The Cardinals are going to catch some breaks. You're going to have some real choices, just like we had 4 guys to pick from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the edge group at the top, that's, obviously you'd want to get in there, but also they have their own red flags that aren't great. Yeah. Then once you get to a certain spot, you can't kind of differentiate between who the better edges are. And then you realize that if you look into your defensive line, you get one of those guys, and then you can look later at 47 for that edge that probably isn't much of a drop off from the guys you're looking at 16. So I think there would be more value, no doubt about it, going to the defensive line.
I wanted to float this to you guys. So I think that you kind of have to take an edge rusher or a D lineman in the first round. But if you were able to there's 2 players in the second round that I'd be comfortable with if they went a different direction, like Will Johnson in the first, and that's JT and Landon Jackson. I think if they got either one of those guys in the second round, the problem is that our risking the fact that you could not get either one of them potentially.
Sure.
Ossenfort has just been so adverse to trading up outside of the Paris deal. I just don't trust that he could do it, Damon.
I mean, but the Will Johnson question, though, like Will Johnson and Landon Jackson, like that, I wouldn't like crush the pick of Will Johnson. And obviously context is important here as far as who was on the board, who's available if they took Will Johnson. And then like that'd be a sleepless night going into day 2 and not knowing like who's going to be available at 47. Are you going to be able to land a prospect the caliber of Landon Jackson there? So that would be, I mean, you would have the Will Johnson press conference in between now and then. There'd be a long way to go before we're firing up the mics for day 2. So it would be a little stressful, but look, I mean, they would be able to put themselves in a position to really nail the draft, but a lot of things would have to break their way. It's such an inexact science.
You need to grade our draft down below, not in the chat, but in the comments. Drop a like on this video. Again, A through F, let us know how we did. And we got an A show all week next week, including the return of our guy, Mike Garofalo. We reach draft month. It's April 1st on Tuesday, and we are hitting the ground floor for what will be a banner draft. Again, if you have not gotten your tickets yet for our draft party, get them now. Reezy Baby, a super chat under the door, $5. Trading down to get 3 picks between 20 and 50 would be great. Can get a high-end edge, D-line, O-line in that stretch. 100%. I think if you can trade out, if you find players to trade up,
yeah, sure.
This is the year to do it. No doubt about it. Drop us a like. It's been a great week of shows. We appreciate all of you, and we're just getting started here. We got some content dropping over this weekend. Bo and I are talking free agency in a VOD tomorrow. What's left for Kazir White and Will Hernandez. That's coming up. In the meantime, for Damon, Dawg, Bo Brack, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.